My dear friends, in this world, everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to give advice. Everybody wants to show that they are right. But very few people take time to stay silent and truly focus on themselves. Let me share something with you. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. Focusing on yourself does not mean being selfish. It means improving yourself before trying to improve the world. When we say one, it may sound very small, almost insignificant. But the truth is, one holds a power that can transform the way we look at life. Think about it for a moment. Every journey begins with just one step. Every great story begins with one decision. Every massive change begins with one thought. The number one teaches us the importance of starting, no matter how small, because without one, there can never be 100 Tao. Take the example of waking up in the morning. Many of us have dreams of living healthier lives, of being more productive, of achieving something extraordinary. But so often, we get overwhelmed by the size of our goals. We think about how many days it will take, how much effort it requires, and we end up paralyzing ourselves. But if you decide to take just one small action today, like waking up just 10 minutes earlier, going for a 1-minute stretch, or drinking one glass of water instead of a sugary drink, that one can start building momentum. Over time, those small ones become habits, and those habits shape a completely different lifestyle. Think about a writer. A novel of 300 pages may feel impossible to complete. But how is it written? With one word, followed by another word, followed by another. If the writer doesn't begin with that one sentence, the book will remain forever blank. Similarly, your life story won't be written unless you take that first small, humble action. One reminds us that nothing is ever too small to be meaningful. Sometimes, people underestimate the power of one person. But history has shown us again and again that one person can change the destiny of nations. One man with courage, like Mahatma Gandhi, chose the path of non-violence, and millions followed him. One woman, like Mother Teresa, decided to dedicate her life to service, and her kindness touched the entire world. They didn't start with huge followings, resources, or guarantees. They simply started with one choice, one act, and one step in the right direction. Even in relationships, one plays an extraordinary role. One kind word spoken at the right time can heal a wounded heart. One moment of listening can make someone feel valued and loved. One gesture of appreciation can change the entire atmosphere of a workplace. If you think about your own life, you'll remember times when one teacher believed in you, one friend stood by you, or one family member gave you courage when you were about to give up. That one made all the difference. We live in a world that celebrates big numbers, big salaries, big houses, big achievements. But we forget that every big thing is made up of small ones. The tallest skyscraper is built brick by brick, starting with just one. The most successful businesses began with one idea written on paper, one risk taken, one product launched. Nothing comes fully formed. The number one is proof that greatness always starts small. There are moments when life feels too overwhelming. Maybe you want to change your career. Maybe you want to heal from heartbreak. Maybe you want to become financially stable. Looking at the entire mountain of challenges, you feel like quitting even before starting. One whispers to you, just take the first step. Don't climb the entire mountain in a day. Just take one step upward. That's all. And when you keep repeating those steps, one after the other, eventually the mountain doesn't seem so impossible anymore. Think about technology. Today, we are surrounded by smartphones, artificial intelligence, space exploration. But all of these miracles started with one invention: the first light bulb, the first computer, the first airplane. If those inventors had laughed at the power of one, the world we live in today would not exist. Even in spiritual growth, one carries deep meaning. One prayer said sincerely can give you peace in the middle of chaos. One moment of silence can give you clarity after days of confusion. One act of gratitude can shift your mood from sadness to joy. And if repeated daily, that one becomes a chain of positivity that transforms your soul. Life doesn't demand perfection from you. It only demands that you start. If you can take one small action every day, read one page, make one healthy choice, say one kind word, you are already building a future that is brighter than your present. So next time you feel that your efforts are too small, remember the power of one. One drop of water may seem nothing, but millions of drops together make the ocean. One tiny seed may seem ordinary, but it grows into a mighty tree. One smile may seem small, but it can brighten someone's entire day. The truth is, people don't fail because their goals are too big. They fail because they never take that first small step. They ignore the one, but those who honor it, who start with one and stay consistent, eventually create results that the world admires. Always remind yourself, you don't need to do everything today. You just need to do one thing that moves you forward. Take one step, say one prayer, read one line, save one coin. Spend 1 minute in silence or show one act of kindness. These simple ones are not small at all. They are seeds of greatness planted in your daily life. In the end, one teaches us this: don't wait for tomorrow to make a big leap. Start today with one small step, because one is not just a number, it is the beginning of everything. When we think of the number 2, it may look simple, a step above 1, but 2 carries a message that is powerful. Progress. It tells us that after you take the first step, the second step must follow. 2 is proof that once you begin, you must continue. The number 1 is about starting, but 2 is about moving forward. And without moving forward, no journey can be completed. Think about a child learning how to walk. The first step is always uncertain, shaky, sometimes followed by a fall. But it is never enough to just take one step. The child must take the second step to learn balance. The second step is what gives the first step meaning. Without 2, the first step has no continuation, no growth, no journey. In life, this is how progress works. You don't stop at the beginning, you take the next step, even if it feels uncomfortable. Take the example of someone trying to build a new habit. Let's say you decide to exercise. You go for a walk one day. That's your 1. But the real test is whether you show up the next day. That's your 2. Because consistency is born not in the first effort, but in the second, third, and fourth. 2 is where commitment begins. If you stop at 1, your efforts fade away. If you move to 2, you are already on the road to transformation. Think about relationships. The first time you meet someone may spark a connection, but it's the second meeting, the second conversation, The second act of care that deepens the bond, love, trust, and friendship are never built in one moment. They grow when you return again and again, adding another layer of understanding. That too tells the other person, I am willing to continue. I am here to stay. In daily life, whether with family, friends, or colleagues, it is the second effort that shows sincerity. There is also a deeper lesson in 2. Life itself is built in dualities, day and night, joy and sorrow, success and failure, action and rest. These pairs balance each other, just like two wings are needed for a bird to fly. Imagine if a bird had only one wing, it would never leave the ground. But with two wings, it soars high in the sky. In the same way, you need both effort and patience, both discipline and flexibility, both ambition and gratitude. The balance of two is what carries you forward. Take the example of studying. The first time you read a lesson, you may not fully understand it. But when you review it a second time, suddenly things become clear. The mind works like that. It doesn't absorb everything at once. It needs repetition. The second attempt often brings clarity that the first could not. That is why great learners never stop at one. They know the second round, the second try, is where mastery begins. In careers too is powerful. Imagine someone applying for their dream job. They may fail the first interview. That's one. But if they prepare again, try a second time, they increase their chances. Many people give up after one, believing it defines their worth. But success often comes at 2 and beyond, because that's where persistence lives. In fact, the world remembers achievers not for their first attempt, but for the resilience to take the second. There is a famous story about Thomas Edison. He failed countless times before inventing the light bulb. But what if he had stopped at one? What if he said, I tried once, it didn't work. The world would still be in darkness. But Edison went on to attempt not just a second time, but thousands of times, yet each of those retries begins with the courage to move beyond one and step into two. That first decision to try again is always the turning point. Even in kindness, two matters. Suppose you help someone once, they may be grateful. But if you return to help again, they feel your compassion is genuine. Think of the poor man who receives food one time. He feels relief for a day. But if you return a second time, you touch his heart. That too shows that kindness is not just random, it is consistent. In daily life, even small gestures done twice make a huge impact. Spiritually too has depth. One prayer can soothe your heart, but the second prayer strengthens your faith. One meditation may give you peace for a moment, but the second begins to create a habit of calmness. Spiritual growth is not built on one-time efforts, but on returning again and again with devotion. 2 is where your connection to the divine becomes stronger. Life is a chain, and 2 is the link that proves the chain will hold. It is proof that you are not just a starter, but a continuer. It teaches us not to stop, not to give up after one try, but to lean into the second. And when you take that second step, it becomes easier to take the third, the fourth, and so on, until you find yourself far ahead of where you began. So, whenever you think your effort is too small, remember this: the first step makes you a dreamer, the second step makes you a doer. Don't stop at one, take your 2, because in 2 lies the secret of progress. the proof of commitment, and the seed of success. When we think of the number 3, it seems simple, yet it carries a wisdom that goes far beyond mathematics. 3 represents completeness, balance, and stability. Think about a tripod. It stands firm on 3 legs. With 2, it would fall. With 3, it stays steady. Life too needs that third element to find balance and harmony. The number 3 reminds us that true growth often happens when different aspects of life come together to support each other. Imagine a student preparing for exams. If they only read once, their memory is weak. If they repeat it twice, they remember better. But when they revise 3 times, their understanding becomes solid. The third attempt often locks in the knowledge. In the same way, our goals and habits need reinforcement not once, not twice, but at least 3 times before they begin to feel real. That 3 is the seal of stability. Think about relationships. One kind word can bring a smile, a second kind word can create trust, but a third act of kindness builds a bond that lasts. Relationships are not strengthened by 1 or 2 actions, but by repeated demonstrations of care. When someone feels your kindness 3 times, they no longer see it as coincidence. They see it as your character. That third act shows sincerity, and sincerity is what gives depth to any human connection. There is also a rhythm to life that flows in 3s. Morning, afternoon, and night complete the day. Childhood, adulthood, and old age complete the journey of life. Past, present, and future complete the timeline of existence. When you pause and look around, you realize that 3 is written everywhere in nature. It teaches us that life is not one-dimensional or two-dimensional. It is complete only when all 3 parts work together. Take the example of building success. To achieve something meaningful, you need 3 things: vision, effort, and patience. Vision alone without effort is just a dream. Effort without patience leads to frustration. But when vision, effort, and patience come together, success is inevitable. The balance of 3 creates results that 1 or 2 alone could never achieve. In daily life, 3 also teaches us about trying again. Imagine learning to ride a bicycle. The first try usually ends in a fall. The second try feels a little better but still shaky. By the third attempt, confidence begins to grow. Many of us quit after the first or second fall, but if we hold on until the third, we suddenly discover that we can do it. That third try often reveals the strength we didn't know we had. Even in spirituality, 3 carries deep significance. 1 prayer can calm your heart, a second prayer strengthens your faith, but the third prayer begins to create a relationship with the divine. The repetition of 3 is powerful because it shifts something inside us. It takes us beyond momentary effort into real transformation. Just as repeating something 3 times in meditation makes it sink deeper into the mind, repeating your spiritual practices creates a habit of peace and devotion. Think of storytelling. Every great story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Without all 3, the story feels incomplete. Similarly, your life story has these 3 parts too: where you came from, where you are, and where you are going. When you reflect on all 3, you gain perspective. You learn from the past, live in the present, and prepare for the future. Ignoring any one of them leaves the picture incomplete. There is another beautiful lesson in 3. When 2 people disagree, they often argue endlessly. But when a third perspective enters, it often brings balance. The third view creates harmony between extremes. In your own life, when you face conflict, try to look for that third way, not just your way, not just the other person's way, but a wiser path that brings peace. That's the magic of three. It resolves tension and creates unity. Consider health as an example. A healthy life rests on three foundations: proper food, regular exercise, and sufficient rest. If one is missing, the balance breaks. You may eat well and exercise, but without rest, your body collapses. Or you may rest and eat well, but without movement, you lose energy. Only when all three work together does the body thrive. 3 teaches us that balance is not about one or two things going right. It's about all three pillars holding you up. Even in kindness, the rule of three works beautifully. If you say thank you once, it's polite. If you say it twice, it's appreciated. But if you show gratitude 3 times, in your words, your actions, and your heart, it transforms into a lasting bond. Gratitude expressed in 3 ways becomes unforgettable. In moments of struggle, remember this: life often tests us in 3 rounds. The first, failure, shakes us, the second challenges us, and the third determines if we truly want it. Many people stop after 1 or 2 failures. But those who push into the third try, who keep going despite setbacks, are the ones who taste victory. That third effort is often the breakthrough moment. So, the number 3 whispers an important truth: don't stop too soon. 1 step begins the path, 2 steps show progress, but 3 steps bring balance, strength, and stability. Life rewards those who keep going until that third attempt, that third layer, that third foundation is set. Because once you reach 3, you are no longer fragile, you are steady, grounded, and ready for greater heights. The number 4 carries a deep message of strength, foundation, and balance. When you look at nature and life around you, appears again and again as a symbol of stability. A table stands firmly on 4 legs. A house is built on 4 strong corners. The earth itself is divided into 4 directions: north, south, east, and west. Without 4, balance is lost. 4 reminds us that to live a meaningful life, you need a strong foundation that holds you steady, no matter how strong the storm outside may be. Think about a chair. If one leg is missing, the chair becomes unstable, and no one can sit comfortably. In the same way, if our life is missing one of its core foundations, whether it's health, relationships, purpose, or discipline, everything feels shaky. The power of 4 is in reminding us that true strength does not come from one part of life, but from building balance in all. Take the example of a farmer. His harvest doesn't depend only on one element. He needs the soil, the water, the sunlight, and the seed. If even one of these 4 is missing, his crop will fail. But when all 4 come together, a field full of abundance is born. Similarly, in our lives, success isn't about one area shining while the others are ignored. To truly flourish, we must nurture all the parts that hold us up, just like the farmer's 4 essentials. Even in our daily routines, 4 plays an important role. Think of a car's wheels. With 4 wheels, the car runs smoothly. If one wheel bursts or is missing, the car cannot move. Life works the same way. Our journey becomes smoother when we take care of all the essentials, not just 1 or 2. Many people chase career success but ignore health. Others invest in friendships but forget discipline. The imbalance makes their life like a car with a flat tire, stuck on the road, unable to move forward. The beauty of 4 is that it teaches patience and completeness. Imagine building a house. You cannot place one brick and expect the home to be finished. You lay the foundation on 4 sides. You balance the structure, wall by wall, until the home becomes secure. Life too requires us to build our foundation strong, brick by brick, day by day, until we have created a shelter that can withstand the winds of challenges. Think about seasons. The year is divided into 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Each one brings its own lessons. Spring teaches us renewal, summer teaches us energy, autumn teaches us letting go, and winter teaches us patience. Together, the 4 seasons remind us that life too comes in cycles. Sometimes we bloom, sometimes we work hard, sometimes we let go, and sometimes we wait. But without all 4, the rhythm of life would be incomplete. There is also a personal lesson in 4. Every human being is made of 4 essential parts: the body, the mind, the heart, and the soul. If you take care of your body but neglect your mind, you may be strong physically but weak emotionally. If you train your mind but ignore your heart, you may be intelligent but disconnected. And if you forget the soul, life feels empty no matter how much you achieve. To live fully, you must care for all 4. That is when life feels whole. Think of sports. In a football match, the game is divided into 4 quarters. Why? Because effort and energy need to be spread out evenly. If a team gives its best in only the first quarter and then loses strength, they cannot win. Victory belongs to those who give consistent effort across all 4. In life too, success is not about one big burst of energy. It's about showing up consistently in all stages, just like the 4 quarters of the game. Even in storytelling, 4 brings power. The hero's journey often has 4 phases: the call to adventure, the challenges faced, the transformation within, and the return with wisdom. Without these 4, the story feels unfinished. In the same way, our lives are not just about one part of the journey. We must embrace the struggles, the growth, the lessons, and the rewards to feel complete. Another beautiful example is the compass. Imagine traveling without knowing the 4 directions. You would feel lost, no matter how much energy you had. The compass reminds us that guidance comes from 4 points. In life too, guidance comes from different areas: our experiences, our mistakes, our mentors, and our inner voice. Together, these 4 guide us through the journey. The number 4 also teaches resilience. Look at the 4 walls of a fortress. They stand tall, protecting everything inside. In the same way, when you build 4 walls of discipline, honesty, patience, and hard work around your life, no difficulty can break you. Just as a fortress shields its people, your inner walls of strength shield you from failure. In everyday life, 4 reminds us to stay grounded. Think of a tree. Its roots spread in 4 directions deep into the soil. That's what gives it the strength to stand tall against storms. If we too ground ourselves in strong foundations, we will never fall no matter what comes our way. So is not just a number, it is a teacher. It teaches us that balance creates strength, that completeness creates peace, and that only when we care for all sides of life do we truly stand strong. Just as the world rests on 4 directions and life flows through 4 seasons, Your journey too needs its four pillars of foundation. Build them wisely, and you will stand firm in every storm. The number 5 is not just a symbol, it is a rhythm of life, a reminder of progress, diversity, and movement. When you think of R5, it instantly connects to the 5 fingers on your hand, the 5 senses of your body, the 5 elements of nature, and the 5 prayers of a day for millions of people around the world. 5 represents wholeness through diversity. It shows us that strength does not come from one alone, but from many working together in harmony. Think about your hand. Each finger is different in size and shape. The thumb is short and powerful. The index finger points direction. The middle finger stands tall. The ring finger holds commitment, and the little finger shows humility. Alone, none of them has much power, but together, they hold, they create, they build. With 5 fingers, a hand can write words that change the world. It can lift burdens. It can comfort someone with a gentle touch. The number 5 teaches us that our differences are not weaknesses. When united, they are our greatest strength. Now reflect on the 5 senses: sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. Imagine if you had only one of them, life would be incomplete. Vision lets you see the beauty of a sunrise. Hearing lets you enjoy the melody of a song. Taste brings joy in a meal. Smell brings memory alive. And touch connects you to love and care. Together, they create the full human experience. In the same way, in our journey of life, we must use all our talents, all our abilities, and all our opportunities. Relying on only one will leave us limited, but embracing all 5 gives us richness. Nature itself is built upon the power of 5. The 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and space, are the foundation of everything. Take one away and balance is lost. Without water, there is no life. Without air, we cannot breathe. Without fire, there is no warmth. Without earth, there is no ground to stand on. Without space, nothing exists. The number 5 teaches us gratitude for what we often take for granted. It whispers, life is a gift built from many parts. Honor them, care for them, and balance them. Think of daily life. Many people start something new with excitement but give up too quickly. Yet, research has shown that repeating an action 5 times is enough to start forming a habit. If you exercise once, it feels strange. Twice, it feels difficult. 3 times, it feels possible. 4 times, it feels natural. And by the 5th time, your body begins to expect it. 5 is that magical threshold where actions start to transform into habits. In other words, consistency repeated 5 times has the power to rewire your life. Consider relationships. If you want to make someone feel truly valued, one gesture may bring a smile, 2 may bring gratitude. But if you show care 5 times consistently, you win trust. Imagine a friend calling you once. It feels good. Twice, it feels nice. But if they check on you 5 times during your tough days, you will never forget it. That's the beauty of 5. It makes things lasting. Repeated kindness in small doses creates deep bonds. Think about education. A teacher may explain a concept once, but most students will not grasp it immediately. After 2 explanations, it starts to make sense. After 3, clarity comes. After 4, confidence grows. But after the 5th repetition, the knowledge becomes almost permanent. That's why teachers often say, practice, practice, practice. Because around the 5th time, knowledge moves from temporary memory into mastery. The number 5 reminds us never to give up too early. Mastery begins where others quit. Even in success, 5 carries wisdom. The world's most successful people often follow the rule of 5. They do at least 5 meaningful tasks every day that bring them closer to their goals. Imagine you want to write a book. If you write only 5 sentences a day, in a year you will have over 1,800 sentences, enough to create a whole manuscript. If you save just 5 coins daily, in time you will build wealth. Success doesn't require giant leaps every day. Sometimes, just 5 small steps taken consistently are enough to transform your life. There is also inspiration in sports. In basketball, a team has 5 players working together. Each player has a role. One may defend, another may shoot, another may guide strategy. If one tries to do everything alone, the team fails. But when all 5 work as one, victory becomes possible. Life is like that too. We are not meant to live isolated. When we combine family, friends, mentors, colleagues, and community, the 5 circles of support, we become unstoppable. Spiritually, 5 reminds us of discipline. Many people across the world pray 5 times a day, not just as a ritual, but as a way to pause, reflect, and recharge. Imagine how different life would feel if 5 times a day you paused from the rush of the world to reconnect with your heart. 5 is not just a number here, it becomes a rhythm of balance between work, rest, and connection to the divine. In everyday struggles, 5 also teaches patience. Often life tests us not once, not twice, but many times. The real breakthrough comes after repeated effort. Many quit after 1 or 2 failures, but those who persist until the 5th attempt often find success. The 5th try is where resilience shines, where lessons from the first 4 attempts finally come together. That 5 is proof that persistence wins. So when you see the number 5, don't just see a digit. See the hand that creates, the senses that make life rich, the elements that sustain the world, the habits that shape destiny, and the balance that makes life complete. If 5 is not small, it is a symbol of wholeness, reminding us that progress is not built in 1 or 2 attempts, but through steady, diverse, and balanced effort. When you embrace the lesson of 5, you begin to see life not in fragments, but as a complete, harmonious journey. The number 6 is more than just a digit. It is a symbol of balance, care, responsibility, and harmony. It reminds us of the circle of life, where everything is connected and where true happiness comes not from selfish gain, but from nurturing, giving, and finding balance in all aspects of existence. When you think about 6, you are reminded of family love, service, and the responsibility that makes a human life meaningful. Consider the human heart. It beats endlessly, never asking for rest, never demanding recognition, always working silently for our survival. That is the spirit of 6, constant service without complaint. In our daily lives, many people we love embody this principle. A mother who wakes up early to prepare meals for her children, a father who works long hours to provide, a friend who checks on us when we're low, or a teacher who patiently explains a lesson again and again. These are the silent examples of 6. It teaches us that life becomes beautiful when we shift our focus from just taking to giving, from selfishness to service. Look at nature, and you will see the power of 6. In the honeycomb created by bees, The cells are shaped as perfect hexagons, 6 sides. Why? Because the hexagon is the most efficient, balanced, and strongest shape in nature. Bees don't waste effort, and they don't waste space. They build in sixes because 6 symbolizes harmony and efficiency. If even bees understand the wisdom of 6, shouldn't we also learn to live in balance and structure our lives in ways that bring strength, not chaos? 6 is also about family. Think of 6 people sitting around a dining table: the parents, 2 children, and grandparents. It becomes a symbol of the generations that support and love one another. A family is not just about sharing food, it is about sharing stories, values, and responsibilities. Just as 6 sides of a shape hold it firmly, family members hold one another through joy and sorrow. When one side weakens, the others give strength. That is the beauty of 6. It shows that life is strongest when connected through love and responsibility. Imagine your week: 6 days of effort, and then the 7th as a day of rest. Those 6 days represent human discipline: rising every morning, working with dedication, striving to fulfill duties, and growing through struggle. Without those 6 days of effort, the 7th day of rest would feel meaningless. 6 teaches us the value of consistent hard work, reminding us that true peace and relaxation are earned only after sincere effort. Think of responsibility in everyday life. A student who studies regularly, attends classes, and respects teachers creates a foundation for future success. A professional who manages time, meets deadlines, and respects colleagues builds a reputation of trust. A parent who sacrifices personal comforts for children creates strong roots for generations to come. All of these are reflections of 6. It is about being responsible, reliable, and caring, not because the world is watching, but because responsibility is the essence of character. 6 also whispers the importance of balance. Life is not only about working endlessly, nor is it about resting all the time. It is about balancing both. Too much of anything destroys harmony, just as 6 strings on a guitar must be tuned perfectly to create music. Our lives must also be tuned between health and wealth, work and rest, giving and receiving, seriousness and joy. If even one string is out of tune, the music becomes unpleasant. Similarly, if one aspect of our life is neglected, whether it is health, relationships, or spirituality, we lose the harmony of living. Consider the emotions in human life. There are 6 primary emotions: happiness, sadness, fear, anger, surprise, and disgust. Each has its role. Happiness gives us energy, sadness teaches us compassion, fear keeps us cautious, anger pushes us to correct injustice, surprise keeps life exciting, and disgust protects us from harm. Without any one of them, our life would be incomplete. 6 teaches us to honor every emotion, not just happiness. It shows us that the richness of life comes from embracing every shade of human feeling. In the journey of success, 6 can be seen as the 6 steps everyone must climb: dream, plan, act, struggle, learn, and achieve. Many people stop halfway after dreaming or planning, but those who move through all 6 steps eventually taste success. For example, an athlete dreams of winning a medal. He plans his training, acts by showing up daily, struggles through failures, learns from mistakes, and finally achieves victory. Without completing all 6 stages, the medal would remain only a fantasy. The number 6 inspires us to not stop in the middle, but to complete the cycle. Spiritually, 6 also has depth. Many traditions consider it the number of compassion, healing, and unconditional love. It is a reminder that life's greatest joy is not in how much we collect, but in how much we give. Serving others, lifting someone when they fall, forgiving mistakes, and offering kindness without expecting reward. These are the higher lessons of 6. True greatness is not in being served, but in serving. So when you see the number 6, don't think of it as ordinary. See in it the love of a parent, the harmony of a honeycomb, the effort of 6 working days, the emotions that make you human, the strings that create music, and the steps that lead to success. 6 is a gentle reminder that life is not meant to be lived in selfishness or imbalance. It is meant to be lived in responsibility, care, harmony, and service. And when you live like that, not only do you find joy, but you also give joy to everyone around you.